Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am disgraced comedian Winslow Dumaine, sitting here with Brandstetter. Jay, how was the piss? How have you been?
Over the past couple minutes, it's been okay. I was kind of thinking during the break, did you ever know someone growing up that was really into martial arts?
Really into martial arts, no. I knew a lot of kids who pretended to, fight like Goku, but they could only do, the kind of the twitchy flipping around type of thing, what had no power behind it. It's kind of like, have you seen Conor O'Malley's Rap World?
No, but I think I know the part you're talking about.
Yeah, where they're trying to rap, but they're just saying a whole bunch of bullshit, and then they just start going like they're making the fast rap noise, but they're not actually saying anything, which is just such a funny way of doing it. Of just like grown men who don't understand that you're actually supposed to say something when you're rapping. Yeah, I knew kids who liked to think that they were like that, but more often than not, it was just brutes throwing their weight around. It wasn't like the formalized art of karate or anything like that. But yeah. I don't know. Did you?
I had two kind of touchstones. When I was in middle school, there was a girl in my class who was a martial artist, one of the ones with a staff. Mm-hmm. And she was actually apparently pretty accomplished at it. I remember when we were graduating 8th grade, part of the graduation ceremony was they had her do a demonstration. She wound up breaking her toe when she was jumping around doing all her cool flips and such. So it was quite a demonstration. But I feel bad for
That's
her.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's like Viggo Mortensen kicking the helmet, breaking his toe.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I feel like if part of your martial arts involves you being able to hit somebody with a stick, I mean, why not just get a gun? You're way more often to just walk around with a gun in this country than with a bow staff. My martial arts training always just included a wand, so I could just go like that, and they would turn into a frog. Yeah, no, I didn't have any. I mean, I took karate, but there's parts of my. I feel like if you've listened to this entire series, you've put together kind of a dark portrait of my upbringing. But there's a thing that I was made to remember recently, which was having little kid panic attacks because my mom forgot to take me to my swim practice or my karate thing. So I had to go to my older brother's swim practice or karate class where it was 7-year-old me surrounded by 14-year-old everybody else who can swim and could their feet touch the bottom of the pool. And they could if they punch the punching bag moves, and so I'm just surrounded by people who don't know me, don't give a fuck about me, and just are treating me like an animal. And I'm just in full-blown panic, completely alone because I'm in the wrong place. And that's kind of colored my entire life, but, yeah, now I'm fine with the water and I don't punch that many people. So, but, yeah, that's definitely an archetype of child growing up. Yeah, the only other thing that I forgot to mention at the top of the last episode is every once in a while I'll post a little snippet of the new game that I'm making, which, depending on how well you know me, is varying different titles. But I'm calling it Project Zerzetsung. It has a real name that I'll announce later on. But I posted some of the images for it, like I do every once in a while on Twitter. And for whatever reason, the last 4 that I posted just went fucking huge. Not trending topic viral, but for me, I think at least 100,000 views on it. And I was just talking about I'm making a new game set in the worst of all possible dystopias. Check the Discord if you want to know more. And I mean, I think it got me 1,000, at least 1,000 new follows, and probably a couple hundred new people in the Discord, as well as attention other places and a few more sales and things like that. It's been crazy. Like the amount of new eyes on this game is just like, holy shit. It's been very flattering and very fun to see how many new people are invested in the next thing that I'm going to make. So that's been really cool. Follow me on the Discord, join the Discord, and I'll show you more about the new game.
Yeah, get regular updates.
Yeah. Anyways, we've been talking about Chuck Norris and the history of Walker, Texas Ranger, which is a CBS action cop show with like an increasingly stupid series of A plots and B plots that went on for 203 episodes. And so that was a huge inspiration. And we have yet to talk about why an internet podcast is talking about this washed up fighting celebrity. So take it away, Jay.
Exactly, yeah. And a part of the question with the Chuck Norris meme is why he became a meme, because Walker, Texas Ranger concluded in 2001, and this meme happened in 2005 and 2006, and he hadn't really done anything since then. And so I was trying to figure out what the origin was, and I always had assumed that it was the 2004 movie Dodgeball, a true underdog story, because the climax of the movie, the tie-breaking vote about whether or not their team wins or loses, is a celebrity cameo by Chuck Norris. It's kind of trying to do like Neil Patrick Harris and Harold and Kumar, where the fact that it's kind of a nobody is what makes it funny that he's the big celebrity.
Yeah, I do like that when like their big get is like somebody who appeared in the background of a much larger movie. Yeah, I remember that movie. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. God, Conan, complicated relationship with this guy, but like Late Night with Conan O'Brien was so fucking good. Just an incredible piece of television. This man was my childhood. So, take it away, Jay.
Yeah, I was at the same time. I was watching when this was all going down. I was watching the reruns of Late Night on Comedy Central the next day when they would show the last night's show. So, yeah, I was following this all very intently as it was happening because we're talking about the Walker, Texas Ranger lever on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. And this is a gag that has a story behind it, because in 2004, NBC merged with Universal. And because of that, Conan's an NBC show, and now he doesn't have to pay royalties to use clips from Universal movies and shows and music artists. So this was his gag, was he had a lever called the Walker Texas Ranger lever, and whenever like he felt like the show wasn't being particularly great or whatever, he would just pull the lever and it would play a random clip from Walker Texas Ranger, and it was always hysterical in a way that was completely surprising. And like I see why we just camped out for like a half hour talking about plot summaries. You could see why like the comedy is there.
Yeah, like the sentence of the show that reveals the core of the plot. There's no context around it that you could like make it make sense. And so every time that lever gets pulled, you're just dropped into this maelstrom of inanity. But it's all done with like bleeding gums seriousness. Like they're grinding their teeth while explaining to you that like, you know, a child molester has stolen a solid gold hot air balloon. And you're like, and they're so fucking angry about it. It's just completely baffling. And so, I mean, this is just a great example of what makes Conan great, is just highlighting the insanity that is all around us. He's just the one telling you, is this not silly? Yeah, but I do remember this very distinctly.
Yeah, and also I'd forgotten he actually had a couple other neighboring gags with it. Like he had the Knight Rider chain that would play clips from Knight Rider, and the Beverly Hills Cop theme song button, which would play Axel F. So he really was having fun with this new ownership. Kind of like the opposite of when he was wrapping up the show and he was intentionally using like the most expensive songs that he could to try and like, you know, as a bit. It was
so funny. Oh my God. Like the last week of his time on that show, where he was getting kicked off because they were replacing him with Jay Leno. It's like, you know, everybody knows the story. And so he had this running gag of like doing the most expensive thing that he could possibly do for every episode of that week. And so like one of them was like, it was like, we bought a Bugatti and we filled it with caviar. And like, you know, this is us lighting a Picasso on fire. This cost $65 million. And it's just like these, you know, it's fake, but it's hysterical to see like this degree of like, just thinking of what's the most expensive thing that we could do to waste NBC's money as like a big fuck you for getting kicked off the air is so funny to do with NBC's actual money. Like, it was done sarcastically, seriously, in jest, and with actual anger. And it was just like such a beautiful joke for an incredible show.
Yeah, what a great send off. And the most famous, like the most iconic clip from this series was one that featured a pre-fame Haley Joel Osment. This is, we talked about this episode earlier, but yeah, there it is. Just Walker told me I have AIDS. Like, yeah, like just this little kid just out of nowhere, and then cut away to a shocked Conan in the audience feeling like, oh, it's great.
Walker told me I have AIDS.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's funny. It's yeah, again, there's just no way to predict where any of those shows are going to go.
Really, yeah. So 2004, we have the Walker Texas Ranger lever, we have the ending of Dodgeball, and then in 2005, Disney releases the Vin Diesel family comedy, The Pacifier, where like, you know, this was him trying to do some family comedies after The Fast and the Furious blew up. And just, you could tell exactly what the movie is based on the cover. It even has the actual Walt Disney logo. It's not under one of their subsidiaries. This is like a baby movie.
It's a baby movie, and it's a completely white background. No, like, every part of this cover is like stitched together from 1,000 other photos. Because it's Vin Diesel with a baby backpack and a baby in a papoose, and there's like this ornery little girl looking up at him. There's a duck following him, and there's a bunch of balls on the ground, and he's holding like a diaper bag and all this stuff. No part of this was an actual photograph taken for this purpose, because all of these different babies and children are just like photo montaged into this very fucking boring cover. I like that part of this show is finding bad art that's not made for us and talking about how much it sucks because it's not made for us, but it does suck. It genuinely does suck. Vin Diesel, The Pacifier. Don't watch it. Full screen edition, though.
Yeah, I feel like that really drives home. Like, yeah, this is a 2000s family movie. You're getting the full screen version so you can play it in your minivan's DVD player when you drive home from dance class. Like, it's that type of movie.
God, sometimes you drop a line that just like it gives me a glimpse into a childhood that I never knew. It's just very funny.
We weren't rich enough to have DVD players in our vans.
Yeah, for sure. We just had flip books.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So interestingly, this is taking us back to Something Awful, because back on the Something Awful forums, a poster of some renown named Scoots Magoo made a thread in reaction to this movie called Post Your Vin Diesel Facts. Because the idea is, okay, Vin Diesel's in these movies where the whole joke is just he's the toughest guy around. What if we just made up, taking that and running with it? And I tried to find the thread. I couldn't find it anywhere on the forums, and Scoots Magoo died back in 2008, so I'm not going to be able to get in touch with him. But Know Your Meme thankfully preserved some of his original Vin Diesel facts. So
do we know how Scoots Magoo died?
Not really. Like one day he just like stopped posting, and some people made jokes about him dying, and then a couple years later his account was permabanned saying that he had died. So like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your cooperation, or thank you for your contribution. Hopefully you weren't a child molester who stole a hot air balloon, but we don't know anything about you. But here we go.
Yeah, he was he was an early PYF guy. He sort of like did a lot, like probably was like an early cat pictures on the internet guy too. So
okay, yeah. Wow. I mean, the impacts we all have. Okay, so here are some original Vin Diesel facts, which some of these are just straight up the origins of the Chuck Norris thing. Okay, so I'll start and we'll trade off, okay?
Sounds good.
When Vin Diesel goes to donate blood, he declines using the syringe. Instead, he requests a handgun and a bucket.
When the boogeyman goes to sleep every night, he checks his closet for Vin Diesel.
When Vin Diesel gets pulled over, he lets the cop off with a warning.
Vin Diesel coded the Google search engine in his sleep.
That's so funny, dude, because, like, the presumption that the Google search engine is, like, extremely difficult to code I'm sure it's like I couldn't do it for sure, but like this to date this is back when Google search worked. It's very funny. Vin Diesel has 2 speeds: walk and kill.
Vin Diesel played Russian roulette with a fully loaded gun and won.
In a straight fight between Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee, Vin Diesel would win. You know, these are fun. I like the code of it. I like the format of it, but obviously it's been so done into the dirt that it's not fun anymore. These are
fun. Actual jokes. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a word version of like the like a tough guy from a Popeye cartoon. You know what I mean? Like Vin Diesel, like he eats an I-beam and spits the nails when he's into the wood when he's building a barn. You know what I mean? Like it's very Looney Tunes. I like it. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, when Vin Diesel flexes his tattoo of a battleship fires its cannons.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. And so this is going on in the Something Awful forums. A web designer and online marketing guy named Ian Spector saw this thread and he thought it was funny. So he coded a website to collect and generate Vin Diesel facts of his own. But because he was a savvy web marketer, he knew that tying it to a single celebrity would limit its appeal. So he made generators for about 10 different celebrity names, including Dick Cheney, Samuel L. Jackson, and Paris Hilton. So someone saw that and was like, this is great. I'll make the website.
I don't want to know what the Paris Hilton ones were, but I'm curious. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson was kind of a action hero guy at the time, right?
Yeah, I feel like he was known as a tough guy even outside of action movies. Just like, he's a guy who doesn't. He's like, shit, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dick Cheney could be an interesting one because there's a lot of different weird thoughts around Dick Cheney at the time, I guess.
That was like around the time when Republicans were calling Dick Cheney Darth Vader as a positive thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they've always been that way. That's crazy. So why was Chuck Norris the one that took off?
Yeah, that's the thing that surprised me was like he didn't come up with Chuck Norris. One of his things was people could submit their own names. You noticed that most of the people that were submitting their own names were choosing Chuck Norris. So he was like, well, that's the most popular one. I should add it on there. And then eventually it became the Chuck Norris fact site because that was the most popular one. So that wasn't like a creative decision he made. That was something the users kind of came up with.
Interesting. Yeah, because this was like a whole genre of joke back in the day, right up there with like dead baby jokes, right? Or it's like a whole category where like you have the subject matter is always the same and like the tone of it is always the same. But you just kind of hot swap whatever you can do. And even a not terribly funny person could write a joke that fits the theme of a Chuck Norris joke. So it's just like kind of a Cards Against Humanity thing where it's like we did the funny part for you. But we did the hard work for you, so now all you have to do is get the feeling of being funny. So, yeah.
Very much, yeah. Especially like pre-Twitter, if you wanted to make a joke about a contemporary thing, you had to go to its bespoke little website and submit it.
Exactly.
I feel like Chuck Norris being a Republican is pretty well known, so I'm kind of glad Ian's here because he's sort of a secondary villain. So being a marketing and branding guy, Ian basically did the opposite of what Winslow did with the rat hole, and he immediately tried to claim ownership of the concept and cash in on it. Like he's published 5 Chuck Norris fact books, which have a little bit of a story behind them. But he went on to really sort of claim ownership of this meme.
You know, one thing that I think is funny about it is that like they are silly, like they're kind of like kiddie jokes, right? But he can't really settle in on a single part of like an age demographic for it because like they're really cartoonishly violent. You do need to have an understanding of who Chuck Norris is in order to laugh at that, but there's also definitely some like really adult parts of it too that wouldn't work with kids. Also, where is Chuck Norris in all of this? Like, surely you can't make all of these books with Chuck Norris on the cover without Chuck Norris getting a pinch of that, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's he had a bit of a reaction to this as well. So
right.
This is sort of a flash forward of what Ian Spector. Yeah. So that's actually later my deck notes here. When the site first blew up, Norris actually contacted Ian and said it was fine so long as he didn't try and monetize it in any way. So when Ian starts releasing these books, Norris sued him for violating that agreement. And people present the lawsuit as if Norris was just being ungrateful for the publicity he had gotten. I feel like that's an important bit of context. And Norris explicitly been like, hey, I think it's fine. I don't get it, but it's cool. Just don't make money off of it. And then the guy turned around and was like, I can make so much money off of this. It's like, I can kind of understand where he's coming from with that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think a lot of anytime a celebrity is in the news for any reason, the entire world just presumes that the celebrity did some stupid wrong thing. Like the guy that plays the Reacher, or Jack Reacher or whatever. Like everybody was talking about, he assaulted his neighbor, and then you finally see the video of the neighbor, like, absolutely instigating a fight with one of the largest men in America, and losing, is just really fucking funny that, like, now we've actually seen the video of the guy starting the fight and then whining about how he was completely innocent of it. That, yeah, you end up with shit like this, which is just like, Chuck Norris is like, hey man, this is cool, just like, don't try to make money off of my name. And then he's like, I'm going to do exactly that. And people got mad at Chuck Norris for Chuck Norris was the victim here. I don't say that lightly, but like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't make these sloppy little books, man.
Yeah, and also they wound up settling out of court. That's why all of his books have this big unauthorized parody medallion right on the cover. That was their sort of compromise. He's like, okay, I'll put a big thing on here saying that it's not affiliated with you, and that sort of worked for them.
It's bizarre that, like, that's all it took.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but I'm not in law. So back then, Ian was actually studying for a neuroscience degree during all this, and now he works as a consultant, and he has a master's of business administration. Like, this kind of changed the course of his life. This made him way more involved in, like, the business world.
Interesting. That you went from neuroscience to business administration, but I guess it's just, I don't know. One of is biological and the other one is just about math, but interesting.
Yeah, and if you pull up his site, Chuck Norris Facts is 1/6 of his current portfolio and half of his bio. Yeah, every page has that picture of him staring at you right at the top. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. Learn about focal length, because I feel like your nose is not nearly as big as you're making it look. It definitely looks like a guy who would be really excited about another manly man doing manly man things. But here, let me read you about the About Me section for Ian Spector. I collaborate with executives, teams, and entrepreneurs to create impactful experiences and transformational results with data, technology, and human-centered design. P.S. I also created the first modern internet meme and turned it into a best-selling book series. I don't know if that's the first modern internet meme. There's no sliding bar for that to tell you when we became the modern era of the internet, but whatever.
Also created is a bit of a stretch.
Created is a bit of a stretch. Absolutely. You took somebody else's thing and monetized it on somebody else's name and switched things out because you just looked at numbers. And also, I collaborate with executives, teams, and entrepreneurs. You would think, I mean, like, there's got to be a word that you could sum all of that up with. Create impactful experiences and transformational results with data, technology, and human-centered design. Shut up, dude. Go back to LinkedIn. None of that means anything. That's not real. If I hear you describe your job without a noun, you don't have a job. I make games. There you go. I don't describe my games as impactful experiences with transformational results because, dude, something happened in the business world where they all describe their number crunching jack-offery with the same language that, like, Brooklyn slop artists use in their artist statement. You know what I mean? Where they're just describing like the same slop that every one of these other polo-wearing fucking dorks does. But they're talking about it as, like, transformational re-examinations of culture and the boundlessness of the human experience. What do you mean? That's not a thing. Just tell me, I work with acrylics, or like I helped this company do this thing and now they do that. Tell me that. It's like when I'm driving around and I see a business that just says like, it's just like JNB's Business Solutions. What do you do? What is your service, man? At no point in time have I ever been like, God, you know what our business really needs is impactful experience and transformational results. Shut up. Fuck. So pissed off at these losers, man.
God,
anyways.
Yeah, and just to give you an example of some of the work he's bragging about here, like AmeriLife Insurance, a fresh digital vision to protect a legacy of excellence. Comcast, improving the customer experience by rebuilding help and support. I actually looked through that one. In 2014, he was he was a consultant that Comcast hired to help make their customer service experience better. So if you've used Comcast anytime in the past 12 years.
Yeah. God. Margaritaville Enterprises, bringing iconic escapism to new digital audiences. Oh, man. Like, look, man, I know that this is, like, Ian Spector, you're not listening to this, but if you are, I don't know if you know this, but websites can have more than 3 colors now. And this boring fucking website, it's a white background with, like, a regular old Helvetica text, and each one has a little logo, right? And so Comcast's logo, for some reason, is a life preserver, right? It's like you throw it out to somebody drowning at sea, which you could stretch to include that as a customer experience thing. AmeriLife is an umbrella, whatever the fuck that would mean. And Margaritaville Enterprises.
It's an insurance reference. An insurance, umbrella insurance, is your insurance on like private property that you own. No, so that's inland marine. Umbrella is like the insurance that goes outside of your existing coverage. It's like an umbrella extending out over it. It's been a couple years, so I'm a little rusty.
Right. But Margaritaville Enterprises is just, okay, imagine a circle with some diagonal lines in it. And that circle is inside a rectangle that is slightly taller than that circle. It's nothing. It doesn't look like anything. It doesn't evoke any image at all. So it's this whole thing of like art and business are just the same dorks masturbating about being vague. You know? Like, tell me what you do with pictures of what you do. I'm scrolling through here, and like if I am looking for like, oh, is Ian Spector the guy that worked with Margaritaville? Because I liked that he brought iconic escapism to new digital audiences, and I would like to bring iconic escapism to my company with new digital audiences. I'm just gonna screen. I don't see Margaritaville. I don't see Margaritaville's iconic logo anywhere on here because it's just black and white and text. It is so dead. There's no life to this at all. My website is busier than most, but like, fuck, man. Not to read too much into it, but like, when your website is this boring and you're talking about these companies that you've helped so much, but you don't have any drop of the spirit of those companies, whatever the fuck that means, whether it's AmeriLife, Comcast, or Margaritaville, it shows me that you're so much more concerned with looking sleek and modern and cool than actually giving a fuck about the companies that you're helping, which you need to do in order to help them best, right? It's so fucking boring. In a world that sucks, when people choose to make things boring, it's just like, it is like an insult to me personally. You have one life, make it interesting.
Yeah, this feels like it was designed more for like robots than people.
Exactly. Yes, that. Nobody's clicking these links, man. And
he does have an article on Chuck Norris facts, so we get to see how he presents the invention of Chuck Norris facts before I dig into it a little more. So would you like to read this, or should I do it?
I'll take it. Chuck Norris facts. What? Ever hear of those one-liner facts about Chuck Norris? Well, for better or worse, I'm responsible for those. You're fucking not. Born out of the early Web 2.0 era, when there was no like button on Facebook and Twitter was still a sound made by birds, I created a website which not only popularized the concept of the modern internet meme, but also turned it into one of the first commercially successful projects of its kind, publishing a New York Times best-selling series of 5 books between 2007 and 2012. with over 750,000 copies in print worldwide. Chuck Norris himself liked it so much that he sued me and my publisher about it, but didn't win. The original website relied on a steady stream of curated and original content which was managed at a 1% acceptance rate. During its peak, visitors exceeded 20 million per month, with over 600,000 submissions to review. It was in curating and editing this fire hose of content, not to mention seeing the surprise and delight it brought to others, that I became interested in the cognition of humor, the psychology of technical experiences, and social media, the nuts and bolts of digital audience development, and the importance of well-designed systems. I just don't get these people, man. Because he didn't write the original ones. He just created a template through which they could be submitted. You know?
That is one of the frustrating things about the show is how often the people who get the credit and money from something aren't the people who actually made it or the people who did it best. It's the people who are best at doing this kind of like bullshit that lets you interface with businesses.
Yeah, it's the oatmeal. You know, it's not a good comic. It's just made by somebody who can chew up and spit out internet slop faster than anyone else.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, he doesn't mention the Vin Diesel facts or something awful or Scoots Magoo at all. He just acts like he made it up himself. But meanwhile, in interviews, he just openly talks about copying and pasting stuff from the thread into his website. So I'm going to read from this very recent ESPN article where they interviewed him in the aftermath of Chuck Norris dying. So it says, that night, he logged on to somethingawful.com, a kind of pre-Reddit Reddit full of high school and college-age hellraisers who'd grown up stealing music on Napster, listening to the Jerky Boys make prank phone calls, and matching funny photos with one-liners to goof around, which, not a bad one-sentence summary of Something Awful.
I would pick different touch points, but I like that it's as developed as it is, yes.
Yeah. They were memes, even if people didn't commonly use that word at the time. Believe it or not, the site is still active, but you could smell the dust on it. It was a group of people who probably wouldn't ever want to hang out in person in real life, Spector says, but they did want to hang out there. That night, he laughed at the endless streams of jokes people were posting. Late into the evening, Spector began copying and pasting his favorites, somewhere around 50, into a primitive generator tool on his website. His site, 4q.cc, was pretty rudimentary. A fact would pop up, then users would click a tab to randomly generate another one. He posted a link on Something Awful and went to bed. So, yeah, I'm going to get more into the mechanics of this, but he didn't actually write Chuck Norris jokes. He had a machine generate them for him.
Yeah.
So he's like a pioneer in using AI to steal memes and cash in on stuff.
Yeah, but the generator certainly didn't like actually generate. It just like randomly selected them from a list, right? Because this is
you're going to see it used. It's a program, an existing program called Fact Generator. I found some of the actual randomly generated ones from early in its life. They're not very good.
Well, then I'll shut up.
Okay, yeah. Here. In the morning, he woke up and was surprised that his dinky, strewn-together site had exploded with 10,000 visits overnight. He thought, I might have something here. His brain started cooking about building something around this strange phenomenon. He loved the jokes himself, but couldn't quite get his head around why it provoked such a large audience response. He shrugged his shoulders and kept pulling from Something Awful, also adding some of his own. His generator continued to rack up views for a month or so. And like I said, here I've pulled up on the archive.org. Here's one of his earlier random facts about Chuck Norris. I want you to see if you can deliver this one.
Chuck Norris was working out in a gym with one of his daughter-in-laws. In an attempt to impress Norris, she started to train really hard. When she asked Chuck if he was impressed, he replied with, "Weights don't hit back," and broke her neck with a roundhouse. Okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. Pass. Vote 0. Yeah. Crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can even see at the very bottom, it says powered by a modified version of Random Fact 0.3. So he didn't even make the randomization software. He just took an existing random fact generator and tweaked it to be about Chuck Norris.
Interesting. Yeah, I just wonder to what degree are these the earliest predecessor of an LLM trying to like put together like a Markov chain of action-y words to the tune of a brand new type of joke.
Yeah, especially in the service of humor, too. I feel like that doesn't happen as often.
No, yeah. I've yet to see an AI make something that's actually funny. But yeah, interesting that doesn't work the way that it does.
Yeah, and as it got popular, people could submit answers as well as have them generated. So eventually, after about a year, he did start to credit them. So I have another one here. This is a user-submitted one.
There are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq because Chuck Norris lives in Oklahoma. Okay, fair enough.
Submitted by Beavis.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really, like, I get what they're saying. It doesn't really make sense because there's problems with the joke, but who cares? Analyzing a joke is like dissecting a frog. No one cares, and the joke dies. Anyways, okay, so it keeps going.
Yeah, so keep in mind. So another thing in interviews is that he complains about people doing the exact same thing that he did. I have this block of text here. He says, about a year after Chuck Norris facts blew up, Spector's site was still generating millions of views per month. Vin Diesel, now with his sleeves rolled up in the Fast and the Furious factory, had become a distant memory. It was all Norris all the time. In fact, competitors had begun to spring up. Most late adopters probably didn't even see Chuck Norris facts on Spector's site. ChuckNorrisFacts.com had sprung up with the same base set of jokes, plus new ones that were feeding into that site. Spector began to see t-shirts and posters of facts, and he had nothing to do with those. There's a part of me that doesn't want to know how many people made money from Chuck Norris facts, Spector said.
Oh, you fucking baby. Yeah. I stole this thing from other people making jokes. Chuck Norris specifically asked me to not make money on it. And now I did, and now I'm whining about somebody else making money on the thing that I stole. Like, it's, dude, not to make light of it, it is colonizer mindset, dude. It's so fucking frustrating. We've done a few of these people where it's just like, what on earth makes you think you deserve everything that you got? It's just so fucking funny. People think that they really truly deserve the things that they have and more. That's the most baffling mindset.
Yeah, like all in the same interview, he talks about copying and pasting stuff into his generator, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't believe people are just copying and pasting stuff from my website onto theirs." It's like, you copied and pasted that.
Let's guess where he's working now. Where do we think Ian Spector, joke thief, crybaby wannabe, could possibly be working now? Is he working at a gas station? No, because that requires too much integrity. Is he working on an oil rig? No, because his wrists are even thinner than mine. No, he's not doing any of that. He's not doing any of these jobs where you contribute things to the world. He's working at an AI company called Makai, M-A-K-A-I, Makai Labs. And he's of course he's working with AI. Yeah. He's a thief that's found a way to work with other thieves because he's an honorless fucking cur. Come at me, Ian Spector.
I can't believe people would plagiarize my jokes. Anyways, I sure do like using this LLM.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh. Ian Spector, I'd rather you were being a specter. Let's see. All right. Yeah, that's me shooting him with my joke gun. Anyways, that's a side thing about a dude who sucks.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to find a little sub villain. That was a nice little aside. But
Jesus.
Now we get to talk a little bit about how Chuck himself reacted to it. Though we already knew about him threatening this competitor with a lawsuit. But now we get his actual response that he did on WorldNet Daily, a free press for a free people. So that I should tell you everything you need to know about what type of news site this is.
Yeah. These guys are definitely immanentizing the eschaton, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Have you heard of Chuck Norris facts?
Yeah.
So it's Chuck Norris writing an article, and his little logo is a little picture of Chuck Norris, which I kind of, I mean, it's just this headshot, but it is just funny.
There are more than 50,000 jokes making their way around the internet that purport to be facts, all playing off my movie roles as a tough guy and my history as a martial arts champion. But they aren't jokes to those who spread them. They're, quote, facts. Guy who understands jokes. Well, they're not really jokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Here are a few of my favorites. When the boogeyman goes to sleep every night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Outer space exists because it's afraid to be on the same planet with Chuck Norris. These facts have become a phenomenon, a fad spread mainly by young people of high school and college age. It's hard to explain why these things happen, how they take on a life of their own. Naturally, over the past couple of years, as this wildfire has been raging, people have asked me, what do you think of all this? My answer is always the same. Some are funny, some are pretty far out, and thankfully most are just promoting harmless fun. But be careful if you go searching for Chuck Norris facts on the internet, because some are just not appropriate for kids. Being more a student of the Wild West than the wild world of the internet, I'm not quite sure what to make of the craze of Chuck Norris facts. It's quite surprising. I do know that boys will be boys, and I neither take offense nor take these things too seriously. I'm so grateful for my fans. Who knows, maybe these one-liners will prompt someone to seek out the real facts about me and the beliefs that have shaped my life and my career. While I have as much fun as anyone else reading and quoting them, let's face it, most Chuck Norris facts describe someone with supernatural, superhuman powers. They're describing a Superman character. In the history of the planet, there has only been one real Superman, and it's not me. Let me illustrate using a few of the claims being made about me in the various lists of Chuck Norris facts. Alleged Chuck Norris fact: faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Yes, these are some of Chuck Norris's warm-up exercises. I've got a bulletin for you folks. I am no Superman. I realize that now, but I didn't always. A 6-time world karate champion and then a movie star, I put too much trust in who I was, what I could do, and what I acquired. I forgot how much I needed others, and especially God. Whether we are famous or not, we all need God. We also need other people. If your whole life is spent trying to make money and you neglect the people important in your life, you will create an emptiness deep in your heart and soul. I know, I fell into that trap. I dedicated my whole life to fame and fortune. I had a huge hole in my heart and was miserable until I met my wife, Gina, who brought me back to the Lord. Alleged Chuck Norris fact: there is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris has allowed to live. It's funny, it's cute, but here's what I really think about the theory of evolution. It's not real, and it's not the way we got here. In fact, the life you see on this planet is really just a list of creatures God has allowed to live. We are not creations of random chance. We are not accidents. There is a God, a creator, who made you and me. We were made in his image, which separates us from all other creatures.
So, yeah, he is just right up front being like doing the cool youth pastor act.
Literally that.
Oh, yeah. And then there's more like, oh, Chuck Norris's tears can cure cancer. Who can actually cure cancer? That's right. Jesus. Again, he has goes on. And then he says, at the end, he's like,
again, I'm flattered and amazed by the way I've become a fascinating public figure for a whole new generation of young people around the world. But I am not the characters I play. And even the toughest characters I have played could never measure up to the real power in this universe.
It's no surprise. It would be shocking if Chuck Norris was actually was a mensch on our side, but it's no surprise that that kick puncher the man is not actually a very bright individual. But it is what it is. But let's see what else WorldNet Daily has on their website.
Yeah, these are like Chuck Norris continued doing this column from that one in 2006 up until he died.
Oh, so wow. These are all by Chuck Norris.
Yeah, these are all Chuck Norris columns from 2025 and 2024.
Okay. The remedy for loneliness and estrangement at Christmas time. Americans' greatest threat in 2025. You might be surprised. And it's a picture of a woman. Is it a woman? Oh, no, it's a man. Okay. That looks like a woman wearing a nice white skirt, but it's actually a man's shirt and his belly is stretching it out really well. Because, it looks like crossed legs and she's like measuring her hips, but it's a man measuring his belly. That's funny. Jihadi terrorism is on the rise in the U.S. What you need to know. And it's just like a guy who crashed his truck. And then what students aren't taught about Martin Luther King Jr. and his guns. And it's, the mugshot of Martin Luther King. Yeah, he doesn't need to do this. He's got all of the money. He doesn't need to do this. It's very funny to see him continuing this kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like he's just like also the one about the remedy for loneliness and estrangement at Christmas time. It makes me really happy that like articles about dealing with the fact that your kids won't talk to you anymore is just a regular part of conservative media coverage of the holidays now. Like that makes me glad to know that this is working at least somewhat.
Yeah. What students are not learning about the Pilgrims and the Mayflower. I don't who gives a fuck about the Mayflower? I'm 34.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Mayflower. I don't care about the Pinta, the Santa Ana, the Santa Maria, the horchata. I don't care about any of that shit.
I've never worn a hat with a buckle in it. This is completely unrelatable.
Yeah, come on. I wear monk straps every once in a while. Jihadism is alive and well 23 years after 9/11. Here's why. And it's just a picture of 9/11 because it's like an image that's so shocking that we've seen 10 trillion times that now is completely denuded of any of its emotional weight. There was a time shortly after September 11th, that, for a while after September 11th, where seeing a picture of the Twin Towers would be like, fuck yeah, man, remember when that happened? But now it's just like, yep, that's the reason that we killed 1 million people in the wrong part of the world, and then basically let our country start the downward slalom into just, crypto fascism. That doesn't really do anything to me anymore. That's a sign of our greatest defeat and our continued defeat. It doesn't. Yeah, it's annoying.
It is, definitely. Also, speaking of annoying, we have Ollie North from last episode shows up in this one again as well, because as an example of how this wasn't a new thing for Chuck Norris, I found he was on Oliver North's War Stories on Fox News talking about the siege of Firebase Ripcord in 2004. So even before this, he's a conservative. He has military experience. He's taken advantage of that, being a talking head on cable news and such.
Firebase Ripcord is an amazing name for a boy. This is my son, Firebase Ripcord. Ripcord alone is a great name for a boy. That's awesome.
I love it, yeah. But yeah, I do think it's kind of a testament to how little the actual Chuck Norris had to do with the success of Chuck Norris Facts, that it wasn't until 2008 that most people really became aware of how much he sucks, because that's when he did a Chuck Norris Facts-based campaign ad for Mike Huckabee in the lead up to the election.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, just there.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, I know what this is from. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, my plan to secure the border, 2 words, Chuck Norris. And then he does some Chuck Norris facts, and then Chuck Norris approves this message. So yeah, that's when everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, this guy sucks.
Yeah, and it's also like a great way to avoid giving a substantial a response to a serious political question, is to just respond with a joke. I would solve the problem with Chuck Norris, and people go, ha ha ha. Okay, but really, what is your actual plan to secure the border? Yeah, just dumb. But you look at the AI slop memes that the White House is posting now about blowing up school children, and it's just, well, we've always been this stupid, I guess.
Yeah, it is very much a continuation of that, I guess. Another fun thing about it is in 2009, Chuck Norris released his own official version of the Chuck Norris Facts book. And I like comparing it to the ones the other guy made, because you know how his big thing was you have to have a thing on it saying it's unofficial. His name appears on the cover of his own book 4 times. It's very funny. Written by the actual Chuck Norris, the official Chuck Norris Fact Book. I officially approve the official Chuck Norris Fact Book, Chuck Norris. And below it, 101 of Chuck's favorite facts and stories. He really wants you to know that this is his book.
I do that is kind of a good joke to he's the one who actually gets to do this. And so he's kind of spitting in Ian Spector's face, which I kind of appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it has the same vibes. If you've ever seen Clint Eastwood's pictures he posts on Twitter, they're 5 different watermarks on them. It's very much the same vibe as that.
Yeah. Is that real?
Yeah.
I see because it's these candid photos of Clint Eastwood, but they always are posted in the most insane way possible.
Yeah, I don't think he's actually the one posting them. I think it's just something where he's well, I want you to put it on there so they know it's from me, and then I want my site to do that. It just feels like old guy who doesn't understand how technologies work. No, they have to know it's really from me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, funny. The most well-known of his cashing in on the Chuck Norris meme is probably in 2011 when he was part of the national ad campaign for World of Warcraft. Oh, yeah. So and then there's Mr. T, and Mr. T as an elf in this is funny because the orc culture in the game is very much modeled on black culture. Not culture, the orc dance that you can do. If you do /dance, your character will do a dance. It's if you're an undead guy, you're headbanging because you're a goth metalhead guy because you're undead. But orcs will do kind of a little 2-step routine, which I don't think that they wanted to have on their actual ads. Is Mr. T wearing a Ninja Turtles shirt?
That's what I thought. I think it's a reference. It looks like it's the format of that logo, but it's probably saying something else. Maybe it's promoting one of those things. But yeah, I never played World of Warcraft. I remember seeing those on TV everywhere. They were a big deal. The fact hey, check out celebrities play this game.
Yeah, there've been tons of celebrities who probably have played it. He was in a United Healthcare commercial, which is kind of funny to think about now.
Yeah, in 2017, it's very funny. It's very obviously targeting old people because it's the 2 old people being oh, I can't afford a doctor. Surely it's too expensive. Then he kicks open the door and he's hey, I'm Chuck Norris. Sign up for United Healthcare. Their CEO is never going to die.
Dude, that's an amazing slogan. Oh my God. If I ever have to create an LLC, I want my slogan to be "I'm never going to die." That's so fucking funny. What a thing to make your brand. Oh God, that's good.
And also, just even outside of him directly, this was a thing that other companies would ambiently latch onto. Like,
Yes.
did you ever watch Will It Blend back in the day on like the early YouTube?
Yeah. I saw some Blendtec blenders of Will It Blend where they just put in just all sorts of random stuff into their extraordinarily powerful blenders.
Yeah.
And just kind of see what would happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a very early case of viral marketing because they were like, we'll make something that's actually like entertaining and funny and people will share it on their own, even if it's ostensibly an
Worked
ad.
great.
Yeah. I watched bunches of these. Like, there where he blends magnets and there's magnet dust and stuff. It's pretty neat. But yeah, one of them was will Chuck Norris blend? So he put a bunch of action figures in a Blendtec blender and everything blends except Chuck Norris because they use a little editing trick to pull out the full figure at the end. So just, this was, if you were doing jokes on the internet, Chuck Norris was probably going to come up at some point.
I remember they had some gag where they were blending lighters and then they just cut to like an atom bomb being exploded. And yeah, they were fun.
In 2012, when they made The Expendables 2, Chuck Norris made a cameo in that, and he does Chuck Norris jokes about his character. And the Expendables movies are so bad. Like, they were so disappointing.
It's so funny how many movies are being made right now about how young people need to listen to old people. And it's just made by old people to like give like, geezer teasers, to give them to other old people about like, like the Formula 1 movie is about this like young guy who's doing great in Formula 1, but needs somebody to like mold him. And then the movie's instead about the old guy who's like a dangerously bad driver, but used to be great, comes in and he doesn't model the new driver. He doesn't help him out. He just comes in and wins anyway. And so it's like, I could have helped the next generation to become the thing that they should be. But instead, I just came in and I took the thing from them anyway, so I can die with one more trophy and they don't get to have anything at all. Very, very much the mindset of the generation that raised us.
God, yeah. And like the way that the movie was promoted, like one of the things, I think the first one might have come out the same weekend as like Eat, Pray, Love or something. There was this thing where it's like, men, we gotta push back against women taking over cinema. We gotta go see this opening weekend. Like that type of thing.
Yeah.
And just as an action movie, it fucking sucks. Chuck Norris's cameo, it's supposed to be he's a one-man army and he kills all the bad guys from off screen, but because like choreography and blocking is hard, they just have like 3 cut to seconds of close-ups of guys falling down without you knowing where the bullets or explosions are coming from. It is like, if it was trying to intentionally be disorienting, it would be clever, but instead it's just like, especially now we live in the age of John Wick when like people know how to make action that looks cool. Seeing this old jump cut shaky cam stuff is so bad.
Yeah, it's like there's no weight to it at all. That whole series is just like old people slop. It's like a Redbox movie is what I always think of them.
Oh God, yeah. This is so. I was legitimately surprised that Chuck Norris didn't have like a Redbox period of his life where he was doing those geezer teasers like in his late age. But no, after the TV show, aside from like a cameo and a couple of things, he hasn't really done anything. So he didn't do that. Which
I guess he had all the even if he made a bunch of stupid financial decisions, the residuals from Walker Texas Ranger must have been astronomical, because that definitely went into syndication.
Yeah, and also part of why he was on the show is because they shot it in Houston, which is near where he lived. So that's a part of it too. He'd have to spend very much. He's literally in his backyard.
Yeah, he could just go. That's funny.
Yeah,
easy peasy, man.
Yeah, and I think like kind of the reason why I went over all these examples was because in Ian's bio he claims that it was the first modern internet meme, and I don't think it really is. I think by looking back, the thing about the Chuck Norris facts that I think is sort of interesting and unique is how it was one of the first ones that was openly commercialized and politicized so completely. Like, the fact like both the person this was about and the culture surrounding it all like became merchandise. Like, I know you've mentioned like seeing those 4chan catchphrases on t-shirts and that being like a big like, oh wow, the internet and real life are becoming the same thing moment. And I feel like this is kind of another one where like, like your mom is doing fucking Chuck Norris jokes around this time. It is like completely entered the general culture.
Yeah, and that's when it becomes completely defanged and like all of the interesting weight and like the weird, you can just tell when like an edgy joke has been made soft because it's about kicking butt and not kicking ass. You know what I mean? It's like this kind of neutered version of itself, and you see it all the time, and it's why I can't get into Star Wars or any of the other like Marvel movies, is because there's like they're not going to show anything actually shocking. Any character that dies can be brought back, and it's just like very minimal in terms of like the level of engagement that I can get. I say that as somebody who's into Warhammer 40,000, but a lot of the dudes stay dead, except for a couple Primarchs that have come back.
They stay dead, but it takes like 30 books to kill them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like Goku. It's like it's like Dragon Ball taking you fucking an entire spring break to like resolve a single fight. Yeah, so it's just like it's completely weightless, and it's just like it's just people who want to watch 90 minutes of explosions, which God bless you, but like it's not a story, you know?
Yeah, we have YouTube for that now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also like I think for me, like sort of my closing bit here, so like my touchstone for the internet kind of becoming real life was in 2008 when Target they themed their entire Halloween section after Domo-kun, who was like do you remember Domo-kun, the little animated?
I didn't know that was the name. I remember this around the same period as that like the swastika cactus. I can't remember. Like I don't know the story of Domo-kun. If you don't know who Domo-kun is, it is like imagine a brown rectangle with a red mouth with spiky teeth, and he's got two little black eyes, and that's it. Like he's an extraordinarily simple character whose mouth is always open. And they just dressing him. He's like a Hello Kitty, but like an evil chocolate bar.
Yeah, I think he's like the mascot for a Japanese television station. So all those like little gifs are like bumpers they would show before commercials where it's just their mascot being cute and weird and be like, basically their version of like, after these messages, we'll be right back. That type of thing.
Interesting that this is their logo is like brown. Yeah, so I didn't know that this was a whole thing.
Yeah, and it was 2000. Like, I'll give Target credit; they were pretty ahead of the curve with that type of thing. And it took 6 years for Domo-kun to go from an edgy internet meme to something that you used to sell candy to children. Like in 2002, it was the "every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten" meme. There was Domo-kun chasing the kitten, and then just a couple years later, now it's just like a funny thing that everyone likes. We used to sell candy. That was kind of an early example of that.
Yeah, you didn't see that with dead baby jokes. You didn't see that a lot with any of that.
We're working on that with the anti-vaxxing, we're bringing it back.
Yeah, we're piece by piece. Yeah.
And then I think like for me, kind of my moment for when this really was like no turning back was 2013, because that was when The Simpsons did the Harlem Shake within a month of it becoming a meme. That's what I'm like, even fucking cartoons are doing this thing quickly. Like there is no barrier between this. It is just in the water now.
Yeah, it's instantaneous. It's brands showing up to just hawk product. It's everywhere, I mean, Benny the Bull went to the rat hole, man. This is the age of the social media intern who's just like capitalizing on the next big thing as soon as it's available to do so,
Very much, yeah. It's I guess. Did you have any other like thoughts about Chuck Norris and all this stuff before I do my little close?
Dude, I haven't had a thought about Chuck Norris in my entire life. I have not given a single fuck about Chuck Norris. In
the style of Chuck Norris facts itself, my sort of closing line I have here is that the internet didn't help kill Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris helped kill the internet. Because, I think that's actually absolutely what happened here. That the meme was sort of indication of where things were going to go.
It's Dole, and he's like the last person that I'd want to do this to, but it's also like it's I couldn't imagine him handling it with an interesting twist on things. He's just like, no, it's actually God, and also abortion is wrong, and also don't trust black people.
Yeah, like it would have been a lot funnier if he like challenged people to a fight like Uwe Boll did.
Yeah, dude, that would have been so much better. But instead, he's just like an old man for his entire life. That's our story for Chuck Norris. Thank you so much for listening. Those are the jokes. Thankfully, the internet is funnier and worse now. But we do have a bit. We have some recs at the end of the episode. If you like the show, please drop us a review. Give us a score. Give us anything. It really genuinely helps us anywhere that you get your pods. We really appreciate it. If you want to get in contact with us, we are at iftipod at gmail.com or iftipod on Twitter. that would be great to hear from you. We have a whole list of episodes that we're trying to make. We also have a Patreon. For $1 a month, you get access to tons of new episodes that we haven't released anywhere else. And that is $1. And all of that money goes to Jay and producer Steve. And if you want to support me, you can go to winslowdomain.com. You can get my game, get any of the other new stuff that I'm making. You can find me on Twitter at winslowdomain and find me on Instagram at calculations. And Jay, where can they find you?
I'm Brandstetter on Blue Sky, and my link tree is in the show notes.
Do you have a rec for us?
Yeah, my rec this week is, since I spent a lot of time looking at and thinking about Chuck Norris movies, it made me want to talk about like an actual interesting, like fun, bad movie from the 80s. So I wanted to talk about Ninja Terminator by Godfrey Ho. Godfrey Ho is this director who made like a zillion ninja movies in the 80s, and they're all very obviously cut up from parts of like 6 different other movies. And like his movies, like that's part of the fun of watching the movies is just trying to piece together, okay, how did this happen? Like why is this guy wearing this really fake blonde wig in one scene when he isn't in another? How come it's very fun just piecing them together. And I don't think he knows what ninjas actually are, because they're always wearing these like bright, colorful outfits, often with headbands that actually say ninja on them. Like they want people to know they're ninjas. And they straight up have superpowers. Like it's not that they throw a smoke bomb and they teleport. They literally will just like teleport. Like they'll just do the thing where they cut and then resume filming when they're behind someone. They just teleport. And so they are just wonderful to behold. Like you probably have seen GIFs of it on the internet. Have you ever seen the one where the guy answers the Garfield phone? That's what, yeah. I have to reform the ninja empire.
Yeah, it's a man with like an Action Bronson haircut answering a Garfield phone saying, "I have to reform the ninja empire."
And he concludes the call by going, "Go to hell," and angrily hanging up the Garfield phone.
That's awesome. Slamming down a Garfield phone is really funny.
Yeah, legitimately one of the fakest wigs I've ever seen in a movie. Just like oh my god, look at this dude. His hair is amazing.
Rocks. Yeah, that is definitely. It is like a Shirley Temple kind of hair, but it's just on like
where they send a robot over to deliver a message, and it's just like a battery powered toy you would get from like a discount store that just waves its arms and walks forward, and they dump it over going traitor. It's fucking
that's
rolls.
Sick though. Oh, and he's got a little eyeliner, dude. Eyeliner and mustache combo hard, and he's got his little shuriken, and he's wearing his little like tactical camo.
He's wearing a ninja outfit, but it's in like forest camo. He's like an American like military ninja.
Exactly. That's fucking great.
God, it's so good. And yeah, just to drive home just some of his beautiful ninja costumes.
It says ninja, and it's got like a little fighting silhouette guy, and he's definitely ketchup and mustard colors too.
Yeah, yeah, they're so good.
Yeah, dude, this rocks. I think I mentioned last time that there's Iron Pineapple reviewed a game that's like big ass, like kind of a Metal Slug type of like fighting game, but every single frame of it is like a different hyper compressed JPEG from somewhere on the internet, and every sprite is just like the guy's friends, like doing like every angle of every punch, and so like it's just the most incongruous possible look at a fighting game, and it just makes me think that like it's the level of budget that you get with that, and you kind of get the same thing. Yeah, I told you about it last time because it's the game called Obey the Insect God, which is just a fucking titanic name. No, this looks great, man. Where can people find it? Is this something you can just find on YouTube or?
Yeah, it's just on YouTube. Like I watched it on YouTube like in the 2000s. It's almost ambiently around, and like honestly, like, that's my favorite one. But like every Godfrey Ho movie is kind of the same, you know.
Yeah, it's just kind of the same ass kicking, foot punching, everything. I found this recently. I've been meaning to read it for a while, but a friend of the pod, friend of you and I, Brad Neely. The guy behind Professor Brothers and China, Illinois, and a bunch of other things. He's a cartoonist. He's an animator. He's a voice actor. He does a million things. He's so fucking funny and has such a unique writing style. And he wrote a book called You, Me, and Ulysses S. Grant, which, as far as I know, is his first novel ish type thing. It's like his first full written piece where he really gets to stretch his legs and you get to like really live in his writing style, because he's, you know, it's the guy that wrote the George Washington music video and the JFK music video, little animated cartoon thing. And it's the story of the life of Ulysses S. Grant. And it's just like, it's so mind-bendingly weird and funny. And I'm trying to find like a passage in here where it kind of like lives in it, because it's very like Cormac McCarthy being misremembered by a drunken poet, but it's more how do I put it, it has decidedly like more levity to it, but there's a part where like he gets really a young Grant gets really mad about seeing somebody else trying to do horse tricks, and he wants to do it even better. And so he's just like, he's going to ride his horse up a tree while shooting 3 guns at the same time. It's really fucking funny. But I'm gonna read you a little passage here. Grant is finally in charge. He's a brigadier general, and he's trying to get these men ready to fight in the war. And he's some of the men are telling him that they know about his war stories from the Mexican-American War. And so, "My name's Tim Tim," he said. "Hey, aren't you that cashier who hung off the side of the horse in Mexico and took apart that cannon and rebuilt it in a church tower? Badass, man. One never knows where will come the wind beneath one's wings." Turns out these affable young men were indeed the good kind of going bad apples. They'd never been respected and were made to feel like gutter trash by the last colonel who tried to train them up. But Tim Tim explained that they'd chased his ass off at knife point for it. "Old Colonel said we were garbage, said we were trash, said we got feces for bone marrow and whores for daughters." Grant replied, "Well, Tim Tim, that's one person's opinion. He said you were bad because we can't read or write," said Aluminum Teeth. "Well, the W is silent there," Grant said. "But you don't need to read or write to be a good soldier, so I can't read or spell, but I know what I got. I got rhythm, rhyme, and syphilis." "Okay, good man, we're going to start with some drill. Old Colonel kept pointing out our violent crimes as proof of our villainy. Okay, if you've hurt people outside of wartime, then he said our seamen's got demons in it. Well, that's true of any man." It just like, it keeps going on, and there's just like, it's so fucking funny. I'm probably not doing it justice, but like, I was reading this on the plane recently, and it's just like, I read it the entire flight home, and then walking home, I couldn't put it down. I read, like, it's a delight. It's so fucking funny. You, Me, and Ulysses S. Grant by Brad Neely. It's worth it. He's also got a book of his comics coming out soon, and yeah, a big fan of this, and I highly recommend it. So that's what I've been getting into.
Oh yeah, Brad rules. I totally endorse Brad Neely stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And watch China, Illinois. It's so fucking funny. I don't know where you can find it these days, but it's like, it's so good. That's what we got, and we appreciate you for listening. And again, like, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we will be back next week with even more bullshit. I'm From the Internet is created by jaybrandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Isbrook.